Alright, here we go. Game 2. Pbhead versus Rollers. We see Roller already off to a tearing start with his scans. He's going to find a little bit of carbon, not a whole lot that he can work with. Scanning to the southeast, he also sees silicon, water, aluminum, and more silicon. Still no good source of primary resources for him to jump on. However, PB, having scanned in the complete opposite direction, has gone ahead and located a strong patch of iron. He's going to throw down scientific on top of that, likely looking to take advantage of this nearby water. But I'm kind of concerned because I don't see too many other resources nearby for him to take advantage of. And on top of that, PB has founded right against a cliff and fairly close to the neutral colony with a bunch of hills in the way. I'm very worried about this found position because he might struggle a little bit to place his buildings safely so he's not vulnerable to black market and so that he can actually get his adjacency bonuses. That's a bit of a concern. However, that said, Pbhead already HQ level 2, Roller hasn't hit the board yet because he hasn't found anywhere suitable either. He goes ahead and also throws down scientific. He's actually going to go for these aluminum mines and try and lock PB out of them. I don't know exactly which ones PB went for. Likely these two. Alright, Roller gets both of them, it looks like. PB didn't send either of them. That's going to be a nice bit of aluminum for Roller. However, he is not going to have a lot of steel available. What PB can do based off of this is, yes, he has a lot of steel production that he will eventually want to sell down. But he does have the option of going ahead and trying to keep that steel price high to keep his opponent out of the game. He chooses not to opt for it at all. He just sells it down massively. It drops to $28. And then he buys it back up. PB's not exactly sure what he wants to do so far this game. He's making very aggressive, quick moves, very PB style, but he hasn't quite fully thought through them yet. He keeps kind of like taking it back part way afterward. Alright. Claim auctions coming out. Ooh, Roller pushing much higher for this one, but PB knows how valuable this is in a 1v1. He's very confident in his ability to handle debt, so he goes ahead and shoves that up to 24,000, but Roller, he's going to push it to 28. He's going to go ahead and do that. He knows he needs an advantage somewhere this game, right? PB kind of thrashed him last game. It wasn't all that close. Roller wasn't really in it from the start. And so Roller's kind of realized he needs to change tactics. He needs to mix it up a little bit. He is going to, I expect him to be pushing a lot harder for some of these auctions this game. And we're just going to have to see how that plays out for him. But another steel mill down is actually very important in him potentially catching up this game. You don't want to have to rely solely on aluminum. I forgot to change my overlay settings and restart the game, but that's fine. People were waiting on me. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to get back into casting. Here we go. He's only relying on aluminum for income right now. That's not really where you want to be. You need to get to this upgrade. There he goes. He's got it. He's going to establish just a little bit more steel, and then he's going to be looking for somewhere to actually make some money. However, interestingly enough, PB has decided to take away some of his aluminum, having realized, that's kind of where he's at. I already have the steel production. All I need is all this aluminum. I can push to HQ2, HQ3 fairly quickly if I've got it all coming in. And so that's what PB's just aiming for here, is taking that all valuable resource away from Roller. So he's not really making any cash right now. And PB instead is, and will be able to push for that expansion quickly. Roller has committed to this very far away water. Once again, this kind of scientific player type of play, right? Where he's committed to water very far away, and he's gone ahead and put down an electrolysis reactor. I am honestly concerned that the amount of fuel he is going to use sending resources from way over here where he's planted his water is going to kind of hurt the electrolysis reactor, especially without adjacency bonuses. But I'm curious, what is the income going to be on this per second? 16 a second net revenue. I have to ask, would it have been better to just put that here and then maybe buy up water later? Especially if you're willing to do something like go ahead and commit to this high water tile. Power shortage this early in the game. That might change up some of these players' plans. Apparently PB is unafraid. He does not care about power in the slightest. He has not put down a single claim toward it. Power is shooting up to a good $120. That'll keep going from here. And he is committed to reactors and steel mills, the single most expensive buildings in the game when it comes to power. I expect these to turn into solar panels in like half a second. Yep. 2 solar panels down. He'll drop that third the moment he has the cash for it. And he's just keeping out of steel for the time being, since that's not really particularly profitable these days. As we can see, PB's gone for the much closer water. He actually has another water triangle down in this southwest of him, so that's very nice if he notices it. But it's kind of in an awkward spot in the middle of all this iron. He might not see it. We'll just have to wait and see what happens this game. So these are actually making 35 a second because of adjacency bonuses rather than the minus 10 on rollers because of that ridiculous cost of power. So I'm very, very concerned about the amount of debt Roller is going to be building up at this point. He went for that first auction, 28,000. Then he gets hit by a power shortage for even more debt. And now he has to fight over these pirates, which are potentially very valuable. Both players might put a lot of stock in these pirates. They're going to value these quite highly since both players are scientific. And we're just going to have to see where this auction lands. I honestly have no idea how to value this game. What I might be thinking this game is, drive it up as high as I think I can to make my opponent take it, give it to him, see where he plants the pirates, and just transition that production immediately, if I have to, into something slightly less valuable. We can see the pirates so far have stolen up 11 oxygen from PB, because he sent right away as that pirate auction came up. Roller just got the pirates down very, very quickly. But they just didn't have a whole lot to steal because that electrolysis hadn't been online all that long. Now, I wouldn't be too surprised to see these left online, but I also wouldn't be too surprised to see them transitioned into something like water pumps once PB has the cash to make that happen. Roller, once again, we have to look at his debt. He finally does have solar panels online. These will be paying off his debt fantastically once they're actually available. However, we do have this concern where PB has even more solar panels. $1,000 a second off of solar panels. Realistically, that's going to take what? 14 seconds maybe to pay off his debt? 14 seconds maybe to pay off his debt. And he's going to be stealing power away from his opponent. No surprise whatsoever. PB is going to remain an aggressive player, whether he is a scavenger or not. And I just want to watch this number go down. I just want to sit here and watch it for a moment. Like, look at that. That's ridiculous. And so very quickly, this is going to turn into straight cash for PB. Obviously, it's making less money at the moment. I think there might have been a solar flare at nighttime going on for the solar panels to be quite that ridiculous, but goodbye debt, hello money, and this could be a very quick death for Roller in just a moment, because he has the exact opposite situation going on. His debt is only barely getting paid off. He had a ridiculous amount of it. He's already had to pay 2 interest rates after PB let him have very expensive auctions, and this game could be over very, very soon for Roller, especially because he does have the solar panels down, but all those were doing... Oh. Your company was purchased by Roller. Did that actually happen? Hold on. Who was I selected? I was selected on Roller, right? I think the game just lied to me and PB won it. That had to be what happened. Because Roller had like $1,000. I think PB just went for the shift buy and it was over. And then the game lied. So, bit of an anticlimactic ending to that. Because I was trying to keep track of what exactly was going on in Roller's head. And PB just had the game so quickly it wasn't even funny. I assume PB you took that. Go ahead and make sure I'm sure on that in chat. I'm only questioning it because it said your company has been purchased by Roller. And I was like, I don't think that actually happened. But, you know, that was an interesting little game. The power shortage was what it was all about, right? It was just the power shortage. Yeah, weird bug. PB should have had that. PB wrapped it up. I have to assume he got the shift buy done. I got to remember to select PB before he finishes these games so we can actually look at the victory screen instead of the buyout screen. It's a lot more entertaining and it feels a lot less bad staring at that buyout check. But very straightforward game in a lot of ways, right? Roller develops massive amounts of debt. Power goes crazy. He gets into power a little bit later than PB off of the later found and the slightly more... the slightly questionable resource gathering, right? PB had his adjacency bonuses based off of his oxygen. He had the steal down immediately. When he committed to a resource, he committed completely. When Roller committed to resource, it was like half-hearted and then had to be more tacked on later. So it wasn't money being made immediately out of Roller, and that's definitely a bit of a concern. But the real story was the massive amounts of debt for Roller, PB getting into power more effectively after that initial power shortage. It just pays off all his debt in the blink of an eye, and the game is over. Oh, Roller resigned. So that might have been what caused that bug. You resigned. Okay. Interesting. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this particular series. That's going to be a nice little 2-0 over to PB. So let's just head on over to the bracket for a moment and see that he will be up against either Striker No Striking or Unbreakable Drew. I do not believe we have a time set for that match yet, We've heard a little bit from Striker No Striking, but I don't believe she has managed to get in contact with her opponent yet, so they have not managed to set a time. We'll just have to see what happens.